Welcome to the 5-Hour YouTuber Crash Course. In this course, I'm going to be helping you get a jump start on your YouTube journey, giving you a ton of information I've learned over the past 6 years of YouTube, where I've gained over 500,000 subscribers and been able to have my wife leave her job and gain some form of financial independence, which has been really cool. We're going to start off with talking about how to find your niche, and then some tips on how to generate good ideas, creating amazing thumbnails, writing engaging scripts, filming cinematic videos, some really good editing tips, and then of course, publishing the video. When it comes to YouTube, understanding your niche is incredibly important. So if you're trying to find out what your niche is, you want to make videos, you're just not sure what you have to share, what you have to offer, here are a couple of questions you can ask yourself that can make that clear. Also, you probably got an email from us, so just make sure that's not in spam, because we're going to send you a written form of this. If that kind of helps you out as well, you can go through that while you're listening to this, or you can just do it whatever way is best for you. So you can just pause this and then check that out real quick. What videos do you love to watch on YouTube? What videos do you love to talk about on YouTube? What topics do you like to talk about with your friends? What do you not shut up about? What do you like to read? And then what do you spend a lot of time and a lot of money on? For me, when I was first finding my niche, I was obsessed about the FIRE movement. I could not get enough about it. I was just so interested in it. I was reading books, I was buying courses, I was going to seminars. I was obsessed about the FIRE movement. So that's how I started with YouTube. That was my niche. I wanted to talk about that because I knew that I could talk about this for years, because I've already been talking about it for years, so that made it easy. And when it comes to YouTube, this is a long-term game. If you can't commit to it for a couple of years, it's probably not going to happen for you. So you have to find a topic that you are genuinely excited about, something that you can be interested in for a really long time. So ask yourself some of those questions, and that can help narrow in a little bit of what your niche is going to be. Now, there's a lot more that we could go into on all of these topics, but I'm trying to give you a condensed version here. Once you do identify your niche, that thing that you're really excited about, it's time to start looking for some proven viral ideas that can really get you jump started. This could involve looking at a couple of channels that are in your niche, looking at what videos have worked well for them recently, and then trend jacking onto those videos. An example of one that I did recently, and a ton of other people did as well, was I read 40 books on financial independence. I did this, Mark Tilbury did this, a bunch of other people did this, but the thing is, none of us came up with this idea. It was somebody else. But because that video was an outlier for him and it worked so well, all of us copied it. And that is something that is going to happen with YouTube. If you have a video that is successful, let's say you have 1,000 subscribers, you have one video that has 20,000 views, it's a matter of time until somebody copies that video, because it shows that people want to hear more about that topic. They want to hear different opinions on that topic. You saw millions of views with the exact same topic because everybody has their own opinion, their own books, their own lessons that they learned from it. And this can be a great way to kickstart your channel. Another thing to think about when you're looking for some video ideas would be Google is a massive, ginormous search engine. So think about, for your topic, what things are people searching? Are they searching? For me, it's how to save money, how to get started in minimalism, how to start investing, any of those things. And the idea here is to find something that's relatively niche inside of your niche and to answer those questions in video form. So when people search in, how to start knitting sweaters for a 3-month-old baby girl, your video will be the top one. And while it might not go super viral, it will get views for a very long time. That's called evergreen content. It's really a great way to kick off a channel. So search some ideas into YouTube itself. You can use a free tool like vidIQ. This will let you know if it's a good score for certain keywords or certain questions. For me, one of the first keywords that did really well for me was frugal living. So I literally searched in frugal living to YouTube because that's what I was thinking about at the time. I saw that it had a really good score with vidIQ. It still has a pretty good score, which is why a lot of people are actually trying to take over that. It still has a pretty good score. So if you're looking for some content idea, it's pretty good. There's a lot more people looking for content on that idea than there are people creating new content on that idea. So if you can come up with something original for those keywords, like how to start frugal living, I tried frugal living changed my life, all of those type of things, it's going to do well. If you start looking up keywords that are in your niche, you will find ones that have a high score, and that can be a great idea to make a series of videos around. So take some time, start brainstorming, come up with a list of like 10 ideas, narrow that down to the top 2 or 3, or send that list of 10 to a friend. If you're joining the 5-Hour YouTuber community, you can send that in there and we can all give feedback on what we think the best idea is. I do this with some friends or in the community myself. Really helps get a second person's opinion, and then that'll lead us into the next stage. First of all, you need that good idea. Second of all, you need a good title and a good thumbnail. If you don't have those, it doesn't matter how good the video is shot, how good it's edited, which is what we spend most of our time on, it's not going to do well. So what makes a good title and thumbnail? First of all, the title needs to be short, like 50 characters or less. Has to be clear what the video is about. A lot of times people make it way too complex, but there are simple ways of doing this with a title. Generally, you want to just glance at it for like half a second and know exactly what the video is about. That is a good title. If you look at Mr. Beast, Alex Hormozy, a ton of people that are really successful with viral ideas or even searchable ideas, it's either exactly what people search if you're going for search-based content, or it's very short and easy to understand for anybody. Not a lot of big words, just very simple. When it comes to a thumbnail, simplicity is again key. You want to be able to glance at the thumbnail and understand everything about it. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be super edited. I realize this is a Cliff Notes version, which is why we have like a 10-hour version of this entire video with the 5-Hour YouTuber Academy. But basically, when it comes to thumbnails, there's different things that work in every niche. If I try to do my style thumbnails in a different niche, it would not work. If I did it in the mom community, for instance, if I tried to make a video about cooking with my style of thumbnail, it wouldn't work. If I tried to make a video about gaming or investing with my style thumbnail, it wouldn't work. There's different thumbnail styles that work for each niche, and there are different ways to understand how to find those. But a general rule is that you want to be as simple as possible when it comes to a thumbnail. You don't want to have a bunch of text. It doesn't need to be extremely high editing. It just needs to be a quality picture that opens up a loop. This loop is curiosity. Why is he upset? Why is he sad? Why is he happy? What is that rule? What is that thing? It has to spark some type of curiosity, and that curiosity is what earns you the click, and the click is what YouTube is really all about. If nobody clicks on the best video ever, they're not going to know it's the best video ever because they didn't get that click. So however much time you're spending on your thumbnails right now, probably spend more time on your thumbnails. I've been able to build some systems that have allowed me to batch my thumbnails, where I have built up a catalog of like hundreds of different thumbnails, and I don't actually have to shoot them. I haven't shot any thumbnails in a couple months now, and I still have a lot of really high quality thumbnails. And then I actually designed the video around what I think would be the best thumbnail, so that while I'm writing the video, I make sure that there's going to be something that relates to the video that I can put in the thumbnail that'll be kind of clickbaity but also be true to the video. It's a bit of a process, but generally just spend more time on your thumbnails. Next up, we have scripting. There are two general styles when it comes to script. One is to script out absolutely everything in the entire video. Some people use teleprompters. They script out when they're going to lean into the video and when they're going to come back. Everything about it is totally scripted. And for certain styles of YouTube, that's necessary. It's a good thing. For me personally, I have a much leaner scripting style. Again, not to keep plugging the 5-Hour YouTuber, but I have my exact templates. I walk through how to do this, but that would take like an hour to talk about. But it's important to understand that a hook is super important. That's how you hook people in. That's how you get people to watch the rest of the video. The first like 5 seconds to 30 seconds of a video will make or break the rest of the video. If the rest of it's great, but people get bored right off the get-go, it's just not going to work out. So you need to make sure that your hook gets people's attention. And how do you do that? The same way you do with the thumbnail. You open up a question. You relate to them. You talk about a struggle that they're dealing with when they clicked on the question. You talk about a problem that you're going to answer in the end of the video. You talk about, I was having this problem, then this is what I'm going to try throughout this video to fix it. And then you have to stay to the end to see if it fixed that problem. You promise, here, are some recipes that I love, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to cook them. You promise a payoff right at the beginning. Obviously, you need to structure the rest well. You need to rehook, use humor, make it in a sustainable way where it's not going to take 6 hours to write a script. But if you have to focus on just one thing, make a good hook to your videos. Focus on that first 30 seconds of the video to make that as good as you possibly can. Next up, we have how to make your videos actually look high quality. First of all, I love to use the rule of thirds. If I look on my camera lens right now, there's kind of like 2 lines right here and 2 lines right here. That's going to be your rule of thirds. Generally, a lot of new YouTubers will have their face like this right in the middle, which is not on any of those thirds. I think it looks slightly better to have my eyes right now on a third, or I would be over on this third, and this would be like some lines of text, or I would be over on this third. Or if it's, let's say, a landscape, for instance, I would want this third to be the landscape and then sky, or this third to be the sky and this to be the landscape. Obviously, every situation is a little bit different, but you can tell a lot of people just love to put stuff dead center, and it's just not as visually appealing. A couple other things I do. Lighting is incredibly important. There's so many different aspects of lighting, but generally you want to have, it's slightly off for me right now because that window is really bright. But generally you want to have like this little triangle right here. So if I was faced like right here, you would see that there's shadow right on this side of my face. I'm actually not turned quite enough, but there would be a little triangle of light and the rest would be in shadow, and that's generally going to be a great look. A lot of people when they're beginning, they'll put a light right in front of their face. It just won't look as good as if it's slightly off-centered, like right there off to either side. But it also depends on the atmosphere that you're looking for, right? If you put a light right over your head, it's going to be like this really dramatic feeling. So it depends on what mood you want. You also have to think about exposure. If this was an actual YouTube video, I would be a lot more worried about that. But right now there's snow out my window, which is probably going to make this side of my face a little bit blown out, and it's just not going to look as good on camera. I purposely kind of like left this how it was so I could mention these things, but this is stuff you actually got to think about, because if you show your camera outside maybe and everything's just blasted white, it's just not going to look as good. The same thing if there's a window behind you, you have to choose, do you want it to be blasted out or do you want it to look a different way? And that's going to change how you have your camera settings. It's going to change everything about it, but generally I like to use natural light as much as possible. You do have to control it, choose how far away you are. You can lower the ISO to kind of kill some of that, make it a little bit of a different type of mood. But having a good quality video comes down to a good frame, understanding lighting just a little bit, and then good quality audio. If you don't have good quality audio, nobody's gonna watch even the best video. It needs to sound good. So one of the first things I recommend anybody invest in, even if they're still using their phone as a camera, invest in good audio. I think they have the Rode mic clip-on things that have become really popular right now. There's a couple other ones. I use a Rode Video Mic Pro Plus on top of my camera. I use that for like 90% of my audio. It works perfectly good. Even using a little like lapel mic like plugged right into your phone, that's gonna work really well. Good audio, understanding lighting and composition are gonna up how your video looks incredibly. Also, one more bonus thing is the depth of field. If you see how fuzzy everything back there looks, it's just gonna make everything look more cinematic when there's that depth of field. So that's gonna be f-stop on your camera. You see like I'm at 3.2 right now, that's 2.8. If I scroll down to here, well, it's gonna make it really dark, but you can see that the wall's clearer behind me. That's gonna be a 5.6 f-stop. Generally you want as low a f-stop as humanly possible. It's just gonna look better because it's gonna look more crisp and like cinematic. That's just something to consider. You're also gonna have your frame rate. So generally I try to keep my frame rate at 50 frames a second, but this doesn't always happen. There's two kind of styles when it comes to YouTube. There's the Machiavelli style where everything is shot and edited with like kind of perfect settings, and then there's the Casey Neistat style where he throws everything on auto and he's got like 10 million subscribers. So you can get as into detail with this stuff or not as possible, but the main thing is if you understand like a couple basic things, some lighting, some depth of field, don't be sitting right next to your wall. Try to sit away from it a little bit so it can get crispy. Try to keep your frame rate like 50. Try to keep your f-stop as low as possible. Keep your ISO under 1000. Mine's at like 200 right now. You can get into color grading and all that stuff, but generally if you understand those basic things, the rest is just like a few percent better. You can keep things really simple and you can make any camera or phone look pretty good if you follow those principles. Let's talk about editing. Editing is where you take something that is crappy and you make it look nice. However long this video looks to you right now, I just passed 25 minutes on my side and we have edited down all the stutters, all the outtakes. We can make it way more engaging, and that all happens in the edit. It is one of the most important parts of the video. However, a lot of people, it can take 8+ hours to edit a video. Some people it can take like 50 hours or 100 hours depending on the type of video you're trying to make. So that's why it's important to think about the edit as you're shooting your video. So let's talk about 3 editing tips that I use all the time. The first one is the J-cut. So that is where you're gonna have me talking, and then we're gonna have me doing a few different things while there's talking, cutting into me talking. Here's an example. This is me talking about a J-cut, and now I'm actually talking to the camera about a J-cut. It's a little thing, but you can use this a lot of times and it just makes the video like slightly better. You can also have the L-cut, which is kind of the opposite of that. That's gonna show the visual before the audio. It makes for like a really smooth transition for talking head videos. Generally, I'll start off with shooting the A-roll, the talking head here. I will then shoot B-roll, which will go on top of that. That's me drinking coffee, me doing all the things that I'm doing. Add in some music, or sometimes I'll start with that depending on the tone of the video. I'll add in text, any animations, anything like that. You're gonna end up with a bunch of layers on this video, but it's gonna look crisp. But it takes multiple layers of a video to make it stand out from a crowd. If you're just focusing all your energy on only one of those layers and you're not understanding how text keeps people engaged and where to put your text, then a lot of times it can be more of a distraction than something that actually helps the video. And it's important to remember that at the end of the day, you're trying to make a video that is just pleasing for the viewer. You want them to walk away and feel something. That's how you make actual fans. You want them to feel happy, sad, satisfied, have a good laugh, just feel better about their day in some way. You want to take the excitement that you have in yourself and you want to share that with other people. And in return, you can be rewarded with having a lifestyle that almost nobody else has, where you get to do what you love every single day. And YouTube is an infinitely scalable thing. I started off making no money for the first 2 years of YouTube. I had also never picked up a camera before. I had no experience doing anything. And now 6 years later, after being consistent in studying my craft and investing thousands and like probably tens of thousands of dollars into my mind, into courses, into seminars, I've flown out to conferences, I've gotten to meet with some amazing other creators and really learn and study how they do it. Once I actually started taking this seriously, I was able to let my wife leave her job. I've been able to stay home and not work a ton. If I just do one video a week, it takes me about 5 hours a week. I've been able to scale up and outsource everything I don't like about YouTube and just focus on doing the things that I love about YouTube while making over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month through YouTube, with the possibility of earning much more. And this is all somebody who didn't have a high school degree. I never grew up working with cameras. I didn't know how to edit when I did my first video. This is something I feel like anybody else can do, but most people will never believe in themselves enough to actually take that first step, to actually invest the time, energy, and sometimes money into learning a skill that can literally change your life and your family's life. And I can't tell you how passionate I am about this. I've been working on the 5-Hour YouTuber Academy for the past couple months. I've been pouring so much into this because I know that YouTube can change people's lives. So if you are interested in that, you can join the waitlist down below. We're giving a discount to everybody who joins the waitlist and watches this video. You can't get that anywhere else. I made it way more affordable than other people's courses because I want people to go through this and I want you to love Monday mornings. That's what I really want for you. So you can join the waitlist down below, or if the course has opened, you can join that. I'm gonna be in the community like every single day, talking to you guys, looking over your videos, reviewing your videos, sharing all this stuff way more in depth. We're gonna have like 15 hours worth of content or something, like stupid amount of content on there. I've been filming a ton of it. I know it's gonna work. So yeah, thanks for watching this video and investing this time. Even if you don't join the 5-Hour YouTuber, I'm so excited for you to be investing even this much time into your journey. I wish you the best of luck and go out there and crush it. Make your dream life a reality. I'll see you.